Just ahead on CTV News. From new legislation to local proclamations, we have details into today's County Council session. Plus,
trial starts today for a county French immersion teacher whose body was found dismembered back in 2023. I'm Bryce Parker. We'll be giving you all those details coming up on CTV News.
WMATA is making some big changes to its bus system. I'm Katara Jones in Capitol Heights. I'll tell you more about those changes and when it will go into effect, coming up on CTV News.
Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for June 10th. I'm Marquette Shepard.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. Lots happening in the Prince George's County Council today. First, the county is looking for support from state delegates on legislation that will allow Prince George's County to issue a Class A beer and wine license to establishments like certain grocery stores to sell beer and wine to people 21 and older.
All of our small business owners that own liquor stores would still be able to have that, but just giving the county some flexibility, even if it was 5 licenses and 4, so we can have big grocers come to like the Blue Line corridor and other areas and give them that ability to really see the advantage in locating in Prince George's County.
And CB16, a bill sponsored by Council Vice Chair Crystal Oriata, is looking to ban county police and fire and EMS departments from disqualifying applicants for uniform positions based on a positive screening for weed.
I also understand the concern about ensuring that it's hard to test for marijuana to know if you are under the influence while you're actually on the job. Some jurisdictions around the country have figured it out, but we're at the beginning stages here in Maryland. So figuring out a compromise that wouldn't kick someone out of the application process, but wouldn't impose on the strict regulations around using after you become an officer.
Meanwhile, 2 meaningful proclamations were given today from the council. One to Eric Barron, the first Black United States Attorney for the District of Maryland from 2021 to 2025. He resigned earlier this year. Another for Eric Carpenter Grantham, a man from Maryland with autism who helped pass Eric's ID law in the Maryland General Assembly. It allows people with disabilities that may not be apparent, such as autism, to get a special designation on their Maryland driver's licenses or state IDs, making it safer for them to interact with police and emergency workers.
The man alleged to have killed 59-year-old Miriam Silla back in 2023 faces trial today. CTV's Bryce Parker is at the county courthouse in Upper Marlboro with more.
State's Attorney and County Executive-elect Aisha Braveboy delivered today's opening statements for the prosecution, pleading with the jury to find justice for the victim, a county resident and French immersion teacher who immigrated from the Ivory Coast just 5 years ago.
Back in August of 2023, Miriam Torre Silla was found dead near an industrial business area in Clinton. Police arrived on the scene to find a dismembered torso, missing a head and all 4 extremities. Today, the man charged with her death, 34-year-old Harold Landon III, stands trial, facing first-degree murder and other related charges. Silla was a second-grade teacher at Dora Kennedy French Immersion School in Greenbelt, not far from the site of her disappearance, following a routine evening walk near her condo. Evidence from the night of Silla's missing persons report was shown in court today, as well as the graphic images of her dismembered body, sparking a visceral reaction from both the jury and Silla's family.
One of the witnesses called to the stand today was the victim's older sister, telling the jury and the court that her younger sister Miriam was devoted to her Muslim faith, as well as her passion for teaching. In Upper Marlboro, I'm Bryce Parker, CTV News.
And stay with CTV News as we continue to follow the developments of this trial. Meanwhile, a stunning shakeup at the CDC is rocking the public health community. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has fired all 17 members of the CDC's Vaccine Advisory Panel, a move he claims is about restoring public trust. The panel, known as the Advisory Committee for Immunization Practices, recommends which vaccines doctors should offer nationwide. Kennedy blasted the panel as a rubber stamp riddled with conflicts of interest. But Senator Angela Alsobrooks is firing back, accusing Kennedy of pushing quackery, lying to Congress, and demanding he resign or be fired. The new panel is expected to be named before its next meeting later this month.
Well, after the Supreme Court's recent decisions to strengthen gun rights, the Maryland Supreme Court upholds a gun possession ban. In a 6-1 vote Friday, the highest court upheld the state law banning gun possession by people who have been sentenced to 2 or more years in prison. The law was challenged by Robert Fuchs after he was charged in 2021 for stealing firearms from relatives. He then retained his right to challenge the Second Amendment. The court said Friday the ruling doesn't violate his Second Amendment right. And if you plan to head into the district for the U.S. Army's milestone birthday celebration, here's what you need to know. The Army Birthday Festival will begin at 11 a.m. on the National Mall. Following the festival, the parade will kick off on 23rd Street and Constitution Avenue, beginning at 6:30 p.m.
That's right. And after the parade, there will be a concert at 7:30 p.m. at the Ellipse, and then a fireworks show starting at 9:45 p.m. Security will be beefed up during the celebration. Metro says there will be more than 30 road closures and temporary bus detours beginning this Thursday, June 12th at 11 p.m. until Monday, June 16th at 7 a.m. Meantime, the U.S. Army just announced a military aircraft noise advisory beginning today until June 15th. You're watching CTV News. I'm Marquette Shepard.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come.
A conference at Bowie State University for those in need of a second chance. I'm Byron Scott. We'll have that story coming up.
I was a young dad of 3. And just when you feel like life is starting to come together, you get kind of hit in the face. I was born with a congenital heart defect and had open heart surgery as a kid. I was supposed to go to the heart doctor once a year, and I finally went. I'll never forget, he sat back and he said, yeah, it's time for open heart surgery, or you risk your aorta rupturing, and that's it. I was scared out of my mind. The night before my open heart surgery, I made a goodbye video for my kids, just in case I didn't make it.
Be strong. Take care of your mom. I love you guys.
But I did make it, and I owe it to the research and life-saving medical breakthroughs funded by the American Heart Association. Their research funded the heart valves that helped save my life. I'm so grateful to have more time with the people I love, doing the things that I love. To learn more about the life-saving work of the American Heart Association, go to helpheart.org today.
Well, mark your calendars. WMATA is gearing up to launch its new bus system. Metro officials say the major overhaul of Metro buses will completely improve service across the region.
CTV's Katira Jones is in Capitol Heights to tell us how the changes will impact Prince George's.
Just behind me is Metro's F14 and J12 bus stop right here in Capitol Heights. And beginning on June 29th, these two stops in hundreds across the region will no longer exist. Now, let me explain the reason why. All of this is a part of Metro launching its Better Bus Network beginning Sunday, June 29th. That means changes are coming for riders who take Metro buses to get around. Some of the changes include a new look to its bus stop signs and a new bus route name. The new bus route names will indicate the area it is serving. So here in Prince George's, the bus route names will start with the letter P. Metro will eliminate 527 bus stops, which is about 5% of the Metro bus service. Here in Maryland, more than 190 stops will be eliminated. Metro is also unveiling 13 new bus neighborhood profiles right here in Maryland, and Metro Maps will also get an upgrade. Reporting in Capitol Heights, Katara Jones, CTV News.
And for more details on Metro's Better Bus Network, visit WMATA.com. And a cybersecurity crisis years in the making as Prince George's County is facing tough questions about just how safe your data really is. From Russian hackers to undetected breaches, WTOP reports that county cyber defenses have repeatedly failed under former tech chief Wanda Gibson. The report also cites outdated county security systems. Gibson resigned earlier this year amid multiple whistleblower complaints, including allegations of a toxic workplace and unreported security lapses. In one case, hackers gained access to the network and went undetected for months. In another, a test hack triggered no alerts. Prior to her role in Prince George's, Gibson served 20 years as Chief Technology Officer for Fairfax County and 3 years as CIO of Arlington County.
Well, the Secretary for the Maryland Department of Juvenile Services has resigned. Vincent Schiraldi resigned yesterday after holding the position for the past 2 years. During his tenure, he faced heavy criticism from state lawmakers, with Senate Republicans calling his departure, quote, long overdue. Now, Governor Moore also announced yesterday that he appointed Betsy Fox Tolentino as acting secretary. She will begin her new job tomorrow.
Bowie State University hosted a statewide conference today aimed at helping people in need of a second chance.
CTV's Byron Scott has our story.
A packed house and a myriad of services that are available to citizens in need of a second chance.
We offer a full suite of services from our outpatient mental health clinic, our Life Success Academy, which is our day program.
All of it was on display today at Bowie State University for its 2025 Maryland Statewide Diversion, Reentry, and Justice Involved Conference.
A lot of people don't have that support or know where to go pertaining to workforce development. They don't have the trainings and opportunities that they need while they're incarcerated. So for us to be able to effectively help them get back into the workforce is a great benefit.
According to state officials, there are more than 17,000 individuals incarcerated in Maryland.
More than 50% are going to come home, and then we have another 39,000 that are already on community supervision, parole, or probation. Those individuals need opportunity so that they can be productive citizens when they come back or while they're in the community.
I was locked up as well.
And that's where Samuel McKenzie comes in. He works with Advanced CDL Driving Academy and helps returning citizens obtain a commercial driver license.
The CDL did give me a second chance, and I was able to take care of my family and do the things that I need to do and the things that I also want to do.
Several hundred people turned out for the day-long event.
My purpose behind this is I grew up a child of an incarcerated father.
As founder of Vision of Life, Donnie Landon now mentors the children and families of incarcerated fathers.
So you work inside of the person to bring out things that they want to suppress so they can attack those issues that they're dealing with and they can move on in their life and be better fathers.
The conference also addressed issues related to health and wellness and restorative justice.
We offer a Bachelor of Science in Sociology.
Charles Adams is the executive director of Bowie State University's Prison Education Program.
These are our citizens, our fellow neighbors that we need to help. We need to provide them opportunities. Understand that a second chance is not a slogan. It's a way of life.
Byron Scott, CTV News.
A class of police officers graduated over the weekend from a local school's program to combat impaired driving. Through the University of Maryland's DUI Institute, 28 officers from 20 Maryland law enforcement agencies graduated on Friday. Through the 40-hour program, officers learned about the effectiveness of impaired driving countermeasures such as ignition interlocks, DUI cord, and sobriety checks, in addition to police traffic management. So far, 500 officers have graduated from the program since its creation in 2003.
Meanwhile, a special ceremony was held over the weekend for a local graduating class. Family and friends gathered at Central High School in Capitol Heights to celebrate the big day. More than 30 Prince George's County students were recognized during the first commencement ceremony for teenage mothers who got pregnant during high school, kept their babies, and still managed to graduate. Congratulations to them all.
Still to come on CTV News, Google may have AI, but it doesn't always have the answer to your health questions.
That's right, Dr. Hack is back in the studio, and today she's discussing fact versus fiction. We'll be right back.
Knowledge is my superpower. I love nothing more than having community conversations where we go deep and share profoundly different perspectives. I studied peace and conflict resolution as a Rotary Peace Fellow, and the global network I gained is extraordinary. The skills that I learned enabled me to level up and have greater impact in my work. Rotary is this great connector. It makes something that might seem so far away, it brings it closer to you. You know, it doesn't matter if there's thousands of miles between us. If we can connect over common cause, we're already halfway there. What I admire most about my fellow Rotary members is their extraordinary heart and commitment to doing the hard work, driving and pushing change locally in their communities and globally. With Rotary, I have the power and reach to unite people across the globe to take action.
Did you know we waste as much as 40% of all the food we produce globally? You might be thinking, hey, I don't waste food, I eat my leftovers. But did you know you might be part of the 75% of Americans who think they waste less than they actually do? Americans toss out more than $382 billion worth of food annually, costing an average family of 4 at least $1,500 each year. And your bank account isn't the only thing that's taking a hit. Did you know some of the biggest impacts of food waste occur before the food even hits your plate? Each year, millions of acres of wildlife habitat are plowed over, and billions of gallons of water are guzzled up to meet production demands for food that never gets eaten. But did you know there are simple things you can do to reduce all this waste? Eating leftovers is great, but things like donating surplus food within your community and better understanding food date labels can have an even bigger impact. And spread the word that food should never be trash. Visit us at wwf.earth/foodwaste.
Welcome back. Well, we'd like to alert our viewers that today's subject matter may be sensitive to younger audiences. Now, from a young age, women learn about their bodies in a multitude of ways: self-exploration, conversations with friends, and perhaps the most daunting of it all, the internet.
And while the internet can be a helpful tool for research, it's always best to consult with your primary care provider to address common misconceptions. And joining us today to discuss Lady Parts Fact or Fiction is Dr. Hack. Dr. Hack, thanks so much for joining us again.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's get started. Fact or fiction? Women should start getting pap smears when they become sexually active.
It depends. That could be a fact, that could be fiction. So we recommend that you start getting pap smears at 21 years old, and that's whether you're sexually active or not.
Okay.
Okay, and then we want to know some clarifying questions here. Like, what's the difference between vulva and vagina? Are the two interchangeable?
I am so happy that you
I'm
asked.
embarrassed I asked, but hopefully we're serving somebody watching today.
We are, because people use them interchangeably all the time, but the vagina and the vulva are not the same thing. So the vulva is what you see if you were to take a handheld mirror and look between your legs. And the vulva encompasses what's called the mons pubis. It's your pubic bone, that area, the opening to your urethra where you pee, the vaginal opening, the labia. There are outer labia called labia majora or big lips, and then labia minora, little lips, There are the thin ones that you can kind of see and are stretchy. And then the perineum, which is the space just behind the vaginal opening. And then the vagina is just the tube-like structure, the muscular tube-like structure that connects the cervix and uterus to the outside world.
Mm-hmm. And so should you clean anything, use anything to clean your vulva if it's just water, or can you use other things like, the soap that you can buy at the grocery store?
I love that you're asking this. Because there are so many things that are marketed to us, right? If you go down the aisle to clean your vulva or clean your vagina, but you don't need to put anything in your vagina. For your vulva, it is just, all you really need to do is just clean away anything that's on the outside, like any dry discharge or sweat, anything like that, with water. Warm water, that's it. You could use a mild soap or a mild cleanser, but you really don't have to.
Interesting. Okay, now let's talk about menstrual blood. What is it, and does it contain toxins?
That's a great question also. And then in a lot of cultures, there's a thought that it does contain toxins, but menstrual blood is just the lining that builds up every month during your menstrual cycle to prepare for you maybe having a baby. If you don't have a baby, all of that lining, which is just blood and cells and tissue, it just comes right out. And that's all menstrual blood is. It's just blood, a mixture of cells and tissue, and that's it really.
And sticking on the topic of, being on your period, can you get pregnant while you're on your period?
I'm loving all these questions. You can. And that's something that, yes, you really can. It depends on how long your menstrual cycle is. So an average menstrual cycle, you hear us say 28 days, right? And a birth control pack, they're often 28 pills because that's a regular menstrual cycle length or a typical cycle length. If you have a short cycle and then you ovulate earlier, then it just depends on when you have sex, because sperm can survive up to 7 days. The average number of days is 5. So let's say your period is 9 days long, and let's say you have sex on the 5th day, but you ovulate like on the 10th day. Well, you could get pregnant. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so going back to cleaning the vagina, there's some thought that it's naturally self-cleaning. Is that true or false?
That is true.
Okay.
There's nothing that you need to put in the vagina, no douching. I know that's something that people used to do a lot. They'd sell douches in the grocery store, or you'd hear maybe some of our aunties and maybe parents would talk about a vinegar douche. You don't need to do anything like that. You don't want to do that because you could really disrupt the vaginal environment, the pH balance of the vagina, and that can make you more at risk for certain infections. And so you really want to avoid cleaning the vagina. Does it itself.
Absolutely. And then the last one, healthy breasts should be the same size.
There is no such thing as symmetry in the human body. Nothing will be exactly the same. Your right hand and your left hand aren't the same size, your feet aren't the same size, and your breasts aren't the same size. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dr. Hack, thanks so much for coming in. That was a very interesting topic. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right. For more information on women's health and Dr. Hack's podcast, visit ladypartsdoctor.com.
And still to come on CTV News,
Simon Buggs is back with our Tuesday sports page.
There, everyone, and coming up on your Tuesday sports page, a recap of the Oxon Hill versus John F. Kennedy High School Summer League game from last night. That story and more in a bit. Don't go anywhere.
Dear Coach.
Dear Coach.
Dear Coach, they don't teach you that inner strength is the most important kind of strong, but you taught me that.
They don't teach you how to build confidence in yourself, or how to deal with all the pressures all at once. But you taught me that.
They don't teach you how to get back up after you fail, or how to keep going no matter what they say about you. But you taught me that.
So every time I walk up to that first tee,
that next test,
a new school,
or even walking into my first job, I know I have what I need inside of me, and you helped me build it.
First tee was more than golf. It's where I discovered what I'm capable of.
You didn't just prepare me for 18 holes. You were preparing me for every day of my life. Learn more at firsttee.org.
Okay, everybody, you know what time it is. Let's get right to it. Now, there was some high school summer league action yesterday as Oxon Hill faced off against John F. Kennedy. Now, the Clippers got the first bucket of the matchup thanks to guard Amari Foster blowing by his defender for the easy lay-in. And shots from both teams like this layup from Kennedy guard Bryce Freeman after Euro stepping by his defender on the fast break, as well as Ashley Thompson showing nice concentration on this and one bucket, kept the game close as Oxon Hill was only down 6-5 to begin the half. But as the half went on, some good defense from the Cavaliers and more shot making helped them jump out to a 20-11 lead at one point. And soon after, the long-range jumper made by Gabe Colston and the Cavaliers forcing another turnover, which led to Freeman showing nice hustle on the putback layup, turned the team's lead to a 12-point one. Kennedy kept their lead for the rest of the half and the game, beating Oxon Hill 78-45. Oxon Hill would take the court next against Blake High School on Thursday, while JFK will return to action against John Carroll on Friday. Meanwhile, a group that Commanders fans are eager to see how they'll perform in 2025 is the secondary. That side of the ball has a nice mix of vets and young players that are all looking to help this team live up to its potential. Now, one vet in particular the team signed to help bolster the unit is cornerback Jonathan Jones. Jones was with the New England Patriots for 9 seasons before making the decision to play for the Burgundy and Gold. And the Auburn product told CTV Sports the type of player Washington is getting.
Just who I've been my entire career, just a hard-nosed football player, just love to compete. I love to go out, love to win. I'm excited to come out and help.
Jones and the rest of the team began mandatory minicamp today, and it will last until the 12th. Moving on to news from the world of hockey, it's a sad day for Capitals fans as right winger TJ Oshie announced his retirement after 16 seasons in the NHL. Oshie shared the news in front of fans at the Washington Harbor over in Georgetown yesterday. And during his speech, he gave a special shout out to the teammates he's had over the years.
Man, what an amazing ride we had. From President's Trophies, heartbreak losses, and a Stanley Cup, we've been through it all. I've been lucky in my life to be a part of amazing locker rooms, but the bond we have here in DC is special. It was an absolute privilege to go to war with you on the ice, in the locker room, dinners on the road, cards on the plane. Jeez. And Mario Kart in the playoffs. Those are the times I cherish most.
Congratulations on your retirement, TJ. We're definitely going to miss you. And wrapping up sports, the Baltimore Orioles will match up against the Detroit Tigers tonight. First pitch is at 6:35. And that wraps up your Tuesday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
All right, Simon, thanks so much. Let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be partly cloudy with light winds. Tomorrow, it'll be hazy with a high of 86 degrees. Thursday, we get a nice and sunny day. We'll have a high of 92 and a low of 71. Friday will be mostly sunny with a high of 92, but thunderstorms are expected around 8 p.m.
And for our community calendar, the state's Department of Parks and Recreation has announced its lineup for Summer Arts in the Parks. The series of free outdoor performances take place throughout Prince George's County. The next upcoming show will be Shakespeare in the Parks, Wednesday, June 18th at Greenbelt Park. For more information or for the full list of upcoming performances, visit pgparks.com.
All right, that's all the time we have for CTV News. Thanks so much for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
Standing for the cause of liberty is as old as our country itself.
It is the American story, a story of fallible people, united across the generations by grand and enduring ideals.
The time has come to reaffirm our enduring spirit, to carry forward that promise that all are equal and all deserve a chance to pursue their full measure of happiness.
You know the national parks, but you may not know that they're supported by a strong foundation. A foundation for the future. We are the National Park Foundation. And together with your support, We're building a bold future where national parks are vibrant, protected, and welcoming. Today, tomorrow, forever. Learn more at nationalparks.org/